Steaks Thursday. We just watched a movie again. This is absolute Shenema. We went from talking about ladybugs and persimmons to going live on the YouTube. It's been another 2 weeks, and we have watched a banger, in my opinion, a classic. Uh, it was kind of directed to our demographic. We'll get into that, but it was chosen by Plow, who is with me now, and introduce him again because I made a mistake. Hello, Plow.
Hey, how's it going?
And we have Louie and Woody. Hello, Louie.
Hey there.
And hello, Woody.
Hello.
So, I enjoyed the movie, and we were just having Plow tell us why he chose it and a little bit of background. And I'm very interested because I didn't know Plow liked this movie.
Well, it's. I remember watching it when I was a kid, and I was just like, oh, it was the coolest thing I had seen up to like that point. But it's from 1981. It's kind of like an anthology film. It's R-rated, kind of like Fever Dream style, with sci-fi and like fantasy elements going through it. But there's a fucking kick-ass soundtrack to it, right? And so growing up as a kid, I was real heavy into like the classic metal and things like that. And so I remember watching this movie when I was about 13 or 14. And yeah, liked it ever since.
What a time to be alive, 14, watching heavy metal. It's a pretty gnarly, mature cartoon, which didn't really exist in the early 80s, did it? Like something,
Not
I know there was
to
this
that
cat
degree.
movie.
Yeah, Fritz the Cat, and the animation kind of reminds me of Fritz the Cat.
Yeah.
That was like earlier 70s, and it was like hippie cats or whatever. Which
Was
I've
that
seen
Ralph?
that. Go ahead.
Was that Ralph Bakshi?
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Was it the? I don't know what other movies he did. I wonder if they're related in animation at all. Because
Cool World, American Pop, something else that was very adult. There was
Wasn't Cool World
a
after?
Rabbit or something.
that was in the 90s.
That was the
Yeah.
90s, but he was the
Yeah.
animator, and that was one of his movies. I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Pick up where you left off without skipping a beat. Go. The animator, the writer and animator, they did some other stuff. I mean, voice actors aside, because they're all well-known comedians eventually, which is really cool. But a lot of the people that worked in this movie worked on stuff like Spaceballs, and just, you know, they didn't really have a career in comedies, but they just were involved in the comedy people. It was a cool crossover.
Yeah, so you had John Candy was like 3 or 4 of the voices. Eugene Levy was in there.
Yeah,
Harold Ramis as well,
Yeah,
right?
Harold Ramis, yeah, was in there doing some of the
Second
voices.
City.
Yeah. But like, honest to God, it's like a movie that's basically like a 90-minute
Fever Dream.
rock video.
Yeah,
right, dude,
music
it's
video
fucking
Fever
awesome.
Dream.
It's a music video fever dream.
Yeah. And
But, yeah.
it's so I'm glad that you chose it, because I almost chose something similar in my last go, like something with a bunch of short stories, and this really hit it. The main story is something like an astronaut returns home and brings something he found, and the thing's like a green sphere,
Glowing
right?
orb. Yeah,
It was the
glowing orb.
Lockdar.
Lochnar.
Lochnar.
The Lochnar. It's mine.
Lochnar.
Yeah.
And it's
The sum of all evils.
very powerful. It talks, kills people if you touch it.
I miss my ex. I'm sorry.
It's okay, Lou.
I
We'll
miss
get
her
through
too.
it, buddy.
She made you palatable. The Lochnar, the green orb, starts telling its history to this petrified girl that just watched her dad die, or whoever. And this thing has exists throughout all time and space, and it has been like as small as a marble. It has been as big as they could fill a volcano. Pretty scary.
One of the cool things about that is the intro with the spaceman on the moon, and he gets in a convertible, and that's like an iconic image you've seen probably in like pop culture. And Elon sent one of those up there, so somewhere out there's that car. Apparently,
Oh, that from the movie?
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what the man on the internet said.
So it's a Corvette. So it's like a 1960s Corvette, right? And then
That's a type of car.
It is a type of car, yes. But like it starts off with a Radar Rider from Riggs.
Riggs. So I had two songs from Riggs in the beginning, but Radar Rider was cool.
Yeah.
Good intro.
Yeah, it's kick-ass intro. I loved it.
Even though it's called heavy metal, a lot of these kick-ass fast-paced songs are just intense rock songs, which is fine. Although you do have the Bluish Cult, who I think, well, they have a song called heavy metal, and they kind of coined the term.
Yeah, I mean,
I do not know.
I think you have to keep in mind though, in like the 1980 time frame, right? Metallica was just starting to come out.
Thrash hasn't really happened. Speed metal,
yeah,
wasn't really a hit, but the fast and the hard stuff still was out there, just in forms of rock still, like traditional rock sounds. But I mean, you still had Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath in the late 70s.
Yeah.
Or mid 70s, late 70s. But I heard, who was it? Sammy Hagar? Am I making that name up? He was tasked with writing the soundtrack.
Yeah, the theme song.
The theme song? Okay.
Yeah,
and
the heavy metal.
The dude who's saying Right Now?
Yes.
Huh.
I really liked the Black
also
Sabbath song that showed up in the last act.
Mm-hmm.
I had to pull out Shazam to see who it was.
Yeah, because it had a different feel to it from normal Black Sabbath. But
yeah, I don't think it was Ozzy Black Sabbath because they had an album or two without him, I think.
Dio.
Yeah, it was still good though.
Hell yeah.
But I started watching this movie with my 25-year-old daughter because I hadn't watched it. It's probably been 20 years, if not more, since I've watched it. And we turned it off on like the second or third sex scene. It was just like fucking uncomfortable as shit to watch with your daughter.
This is geared to the 14-year-old guy.
Is prime time for it.
And well,
it's like Adult Swim.
Especially, but that's the thing. Like, I feel like today's 14-year-olds, like, from being based in the internet, this is nothing at all.
Oh yeah, this is nothing right now.
But it was cool, like with some of the animation, like they were like showing really gruesome deaths and like the faces of death type.
Yeah,
shit
it was
and
smooth too.
Yeah, and I don't know, it was good. I watched it over like 3 days, just because that's the way I have to watch movies because the way my life is. But
it chops up nicely though.
It does. Yeah, it's almost made for it. So anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Like the comic book, Heavy
great
Metal,
observation.
it was based on the UK comic.
The comic book was like 3 or 4 ongoing stories all going at the same time, and so you had, and it was weekly, wasn't it?
I don't know if it was weekly. No, I don't think
the
so.
French. You talking about the French publication?
The British publication.
But it was called Heavy
Metal. Heavy Metal.
I thought there was a translation involved.
Probably aluminium, you know?
No, he's right. He's onto
Weighty
something,
brass.
but it's deeper into British comic lore than I know. But I think he's onto something.
Wait, so did it start in France and then and come over?
The only one who knows is Alan Moore, and he doesn't return my texts.
Was it? Who's the guy? Judge Dredd was like the longest ongoing on that.
Don't He's
the comic,
2000
but
AD.
This is the movie show, so I'll calm down. 2008. No, he was 2000. Wait, he was in 2000 AD. He was in heavy metal. Maybe it was French then.
Metal
people than us
Hurlant,
know.
which means
Yes,
howling metal
that.
or screaming metal. And
Okay.
but they translated it into heavy metal somehow, which just stuck and worked. I mean, it works. I like the animation. We're touching on like the demographic. It represents like this world is filled with just like damsels in distress that are just eager to fuck you.
Yeah, it's all like the classic pulp sci-fi fantasy tropes.
Our buddy Goose isn't here, so I will just promote that it does push an old school way of thinking.
Yeah,
but
evil queen will fuck you and then try to kill you.
Yes, but it's also mixed in with the counterculture of the times where they're, pointing on things like, this dystopian landscape and all this bullshit. So there's definitely a lot of fantasy, but there is that bit of that dope smoking hippie culture, read weird
like
comics,
commentary.
and they're a little bit older and they're doing different shit. Yes, commentary. Yeah. It was of the time. It fit the zeitgeist. If that doesn't, yes.
And it did push the bounds of animation a good bit. I feel like it was one of the first, they heavily used rotoscoping, which wasn't really being used in feature films. And like a lot of those flying sequences.
Oh, dude, those were wild.
Were actually pretty mystifying. Like I was really locked in with that stuff, and it
looked better than the video games from the day.
It definitely, but the thing now, there's no way that would ever be hand drawn like that was in today's environment. That would be rendered.
They did have a scene that was computer generated.
It was beautiful.
What was it? Do you know?
Well, just from looking at it, it was towards the end. Not to jump ahead, but when she was flying, and there was like the canyons and the pits and the cliff sides were red. But so getting into like the stories. Wow, do you remember the first story?
Harry Canyon. He's the he's a cab driver. I'm trying to think of what he's like.
New York City.
Was like 20, 30 something.
He says Goyle.
Yeah, Goyle.
Goyle.
Hi, Harry.
Yeah. He's super cynical, so I can relate to that.
He is. Cynical cab driver.
Yeah, cynical cab driver who comes across a damsel who, damsel in distress whose father just got killed, and now these gangsters are after her in the orb of Lochnar.
She has the orb in like a scientific case, like
it's like a film noir kind of thing of like damsel in distress, danger. Here's this, hard living guy, and like, all right, I'll help.
They're after me.
Yeah, it reminded me of the opening of the Fifth Element. Sorry,
the Fifth Element was
Dallas
like
Corbin,
almost beat by
Corbin
beat.
Dallas.
Yeah, it was it was heavily inspired by Mr. Canyon.
Yeah.
Multipass.
So like the cab driver that Bruce Willis plays, it was a flying cab in the future, and he's all like, trying to get by and fuck the system, always pushing him around.
The red hair too, right?
Yep.
That's wild.
Yeah, Lilu. Yeah, good catch. Never noticed that.
Mm-hmm. I heard they based it off of that. Hell yeah.
I feel like Carl from Aqua Teen is based off of this guy too.
But like never did anything, just kind of stayed home and got fat.
Yeah, Carl like modeled his life after that guy. Like wanted to be that guy, but he's like the fatter, drunker version of it. Yeah.
But so fun fact, I looked up for this. They had different art houses do each segment.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
you could tell.
You could tell.
It was impressive.
Harry Cannon was, done by somebody, and then like a whole different animation studio did the Den, which is
Mhm.
Den is the nerd fantasy, basically,
Yeah,
right?
Dan.
The
He
nerdy
becomes that.
Yeah,
Dan.
yeah, where the teenager is transported to where is it? Neverwhere or something like that.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
some world, and he's just
So
like this.
I have a stoner thought about the that one. Okay, so he's from Earth, right? But he's obviously like He-Man. I'm curious. The girl that he's like saves and stuff is also from Earth. I wonder if she was a nerd. I'm being told by my
ah,
wife to keep it down. I'm yelling. Yes. So I'm gonna keep
oh,
Why? Do you
She
talking
think he
then.
was
doesn't
a
want you to
nerd?
speak the truth. She's trying
Yeah,
to
she came
silence
in
you.
like tapping her
Speak
hand
your
out.
truth.
Like, yeah, I'm trying to, but I have to volume control. We got a sleeping baby. Um,
Let the baby
uh,
know.
yeah,
I can't hear you.
Tell the baby about Lochnar.
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 Don't touch
I'm
Lochnar,
what I'm
baby.
saying. I wonder if the girl was also a nerd on Earth who got transported that way, or if she was hot on
That's
Earth
a
as
good.
well.
Yeah, that's a good point.
My
She's
question
probably
is,
like
It's a real head
Judy
scratcher, man.
Greer.
she
Yeah.
had she had a British accent though, right?
Did
So
she?
does yeah.
Uh,
So does that mean she was a nerdy British person?
Well, his accent changed from being, oh,
Does
yeah,
that make it
good.
better for you, Plow?
Hi, I'm here to rescue you. It went from, being a twerpy 12-year-old to, look at
Uh,
I'm John Candy, like He-Man now, with a Yul Brenner head. And I'm here to save you.
It's just funny to me. Like as I was sitting there watching it, I was like, huh. I wonder, like, did she keep her accent, or does it mean that there's like a English speaking
part of
like
the
British,
galaxy.
yeah, British based galaxy
He
somewhere?
he's like Shazam because if you notice his inner monologue is still that of a 12-year-old and he sounds like it. But when he talks like this. When inside, he's like, and then I could just breathe for hours and it didn't seem to bother this new body. Is there anything I can do for you? But his inner monologue is like Captain Marvel. He's this big,
Yeah.
strong guy, but inside he's a 12-year-old. Like, whoa.
Exactly. Yeah. Very cool
We've all
scene.
been there.
I've had those dreams. There's that one movie where the kid gets in a space suit and he can just fight. That was
Yeah,
back in the
Fly
day.
the Navigator.
Maybe he like orders a cheeseburger and like the suit kind of crushes it up into like a small gumball that he can chew, and he's like, "This isn't what I thought." I don't know,
Sounds
random,
like a comic tech jacket.
random fucking thought. So all these small stories, they involve the Green Sphere, Lochnar, and towards the end, like all the ones that aren't main characters just disintegrate in like some really cool death scenes. Even the bad guys that kind of study it and go after the sphere, the first thing they do is just grab it and they just die. It's like, what the fuck? You should know by now.
It's the classic MacGuffin, like the Infinity Gauntlet of like this is the thing that all the stories around. Like this is the main thing, and
Yeah.
really it's this magical item. You gotta get it, but all these other stories can revolve around that, which is brilliant storytelling. And it's
Yeah, it's a good way to link it all together. That's
The
got to
Bible.
be like a Harold Ramis kind of thing. I don't know if he helped write it, but this sci-fi thing, like Ramis and Dan Aykroyd, they like to do movies that have a core belief, and they don't like to stray from that. So that really did tie everything together and make it a cohesive movie. Had you seeing the sphere throughout
I'm
time.
surprised Bill Murray wasn't thrown in there.
Yeah, I don't know. It was early. What was he doing?
Maybe
His
they
life.
didn't know each other.
Well, it was a lot of the people from SCTV.
Yeah,
True.
it was.
Yeah, yeah. What did you think of the fat lines of coke the aliens were doing?
Oh yeah, dude. Harold Ramis did that voice too. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that wasn't Coke. Come on, man. That was alien
That was
protein.
Christmas cheer.
You don't want
But
to
yeah.
buy a death stick.
That's John Candy was the robot in that one.
Yeah.
Who also
Yeah.
apparently the robot has male human genitalia or something.
Yeah,
as
he's
well.
able
He's
to
equipped. He's
bang
equipped for,
a human female.
Yeah.
Adapters that can be attached.
It's a deluxe model.
Yeah.
That story also
but,
kind of shows the times too, because he was like, let's get married, and she's like, mixed relationships don't work, and then she's like, okay, let's do it.
Are
But
you circumcised?
me personally,
And it was funny because
Oh.
you're like, no, what? He's a robot.
robot circumcision.
Yeah, that's the scene, or that's the short there with the main song from Sammy Hagar, the heavy metal,
Hmm.
when they're going into the docking bay and they're like, oh, it's fine, and they,
Yeah,
Fuck it all up.
Heavy metal, right? That one?
yep.
That's,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, he thought it was gonna be an actual like movie about like heavy metal, like, and not just like sci-fi stuff. I guess he was just going off
Iron
of like
ore?
the title.
I thought it was going about Pittsburgh steel mills, I don't know, what the hell.
Like, like the stuff Billy Joel's been doing.
Yeah,
Allentown.
Allentown, right? Yeah. But we skipped the Captain Stern one where the guy's on trial.
Yeah, he's on trial, and he's like, "Shut up, Charlie! I got an angle." And this, so he's on trial, it's like a galactic trial, and his lawyer is like you're cooked or something, but he has like a star witness or a star testimony.
He's a wonderful captain. I know he does good things. And then he ate a baby.
Yeah, that was interesting. So the sphere made him talk shit. I don't know. Like, did the sphere make him tell the truth, or did the sphere make him just lie? But either way, he kind of roid raged. But at the end, and our viewers have to just watch it. But at the end, when Captain Stern was broken out of trial and he was free, he was like paying the guy. So was it all planned? Like, did the sphere have any impact on the guy?
He debaned and was like normal, and he's like, "Oh, thanks for the money." And then fucking Captain Douchebag fucking flicks him out an airlock like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And the pretty boy space pirate won again. Probably a Kennedy. That was my vibe.
Or Zap Brannigan.
Yeah, Zap Brannigan. He was based off like other characters.
Yeah, he's like an amalgamation of like everything like that. So
Well, whatever. Brunette Duke Nukem is a douchebag. He walked away.
Brunette Space Duke Nukem. It was a good short story. I forget how many there were.
there's the B-17 one, which is like a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like a horror short story.
Well,
Which,
there's the one where the guy goes down, he crashes, and then there's the other one with the. Oh, is that the same one?
The guy that
same
goes
one.
down and crashes is
Same
like a
one,
setup
yeah.
to the main story. That tells the story.
Okay.
yeah.
And that was
It's-
a very different animation style from everything else.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
had time
it was.
constraints.
Yeah, it was like
They
really
had-
sketchy looking and stuff. Yeah.
That was very 1960s, 70s war comic art.
I was
where
gonna
it
say
kinda
Soviet,
realistic,
almost
yeah.
Soviet animation.
Remember
Like war comics were big, and it looked like that.
Yeah.
what was it? Marvel had this one comic called, I think, Nom.
Nom, yeah, it was like
Yeah.
a modern version of the war comic, and it was
Yeah.
pretty brutal too. Yeah.
Yeah, my dad has like every issue of that. And I remember reading that when I was like young, flipping through all those. But it reminded me of that art style.
Yeah.
It's very frank and kind of like matter of fact. It's adult.
It's like this trace
Not
almost,
cartoony.
which I know they traced a lot of scenes for the animation. But yeah, they had time constraints and budget issues, so they had to like outsource a lot of this. Which in fact gave it its own identity and made it more unique.
Wasn't one of these done by Pixar?
I think so. I think Disney did the last one, the Tarnia. Right?
Well, Pixar
That
got
sounds
leased to
right.
do all left nipples of the females. It was like a
okay.
test run for them for the big time.
That's one thing I noticed about this. All the animators seem to have chosen the same model to base their breast design on. It seems.
Yeah, they're
Well,
naked
they were based on the
females.
comics.
Those big basketball tits. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was based on the comic kind of art. It was, yeah.
Bimbo
taking
in
their cues from the
distress.
Source material. The big-breasted fantasy Valkyrie type warrior. That was the nerd goon of that time.
So I hear.
Yeah.
So I've been
Really?
And they
Goose-
invented D&D,
Goose could
and you
probably
could play
speak
as
better
one,
to
and
it.
you know.
And the
So
the story with this. Okay, so Din was the sacrifice. He was the hero. He saved the chick. And then we had the last one, like the last story with the sphere throughout time.
So then it comes the aliens doing coke in the robot, right? Where
The robot. Bangs.
it's Eugene Levy and Harold Ramis are the two stoners.
Yeah.
And then they abduct like a stenographer from the Pentagon? This is where they're
Oh yeah, from the
Right?
boardroom
Yeah.
meeting.
yeah.
It was like the modern day CIA meeting of like the 80s.
Well, yeah, it's like they're in the Pentagon, right? And they abduct her, and they also reclaim a robot that's like in charge of shit or something like that. I don't know. I didn't quite understand what was going on with
They
that.
just had to
but,
get the chick and the robot together in space.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And then she becomes
It's-
needy after a bit.
Yeah.
Actually, no, the robot does. Like, will you marry me? She's like, I already have a husband. But okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then that one goes into was it Tarnia?
I heard. Well, before we get there,
Okay.
between every short story, it goes back to the sphere, telling its history to the freaked out girl in the original house from the beginning. And he says
The
something like,
astronaut's daughter.
"Yeah, the astronaut's daughter." He says something like, "It's my job to enlighten you because you will be the future that kills me," or something, like, kind of saying that, you know, your generation may be the one to take me down.
Did she grow up to be one of the warrior
Dude, yeah, like they kind of
ladies?
we got to get
That's
there,
how
but
it ends. Yeah.
yeah, we got that. This is setting that up. So
She is Tarna.
What?
yeah, he says that,
Yeah,
and so
dude,
then it goes
it's
to
a
the
big
last story,
circle, man.
dude. That's what I'm saying.
Whoa.
She got swallowed up in the green light.
We're gonna get to
No.
that, but yeah, like that's like I think that's why I say I think Harold Ramis had a big part of like the cohesion. But after he says that, he goes to the last story, which is like, I would say a mix of modern clothing, futurism, and dinosaurs. But
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the
Big
same
Back
like,
time. Like-
the He-Man like
Yeah,
mixing
He-Man.
fantasy swords and sorcery.
But
with,
instead of like
Swords,
Hangman
sorcery,
stuff,
sci-fi.
technology, because they were like shooting guns and shit. Yeah.
But they were
We got
wearing like
swords, they also
leather.
got laser guns.
and
So-
a
When did
space
He-Man
clothes.
come out?
About 3 years after this.
Oh, no shit. So do you guys think maybe this influenced the He-Man stuff a little bit?
As most
Yeah.
definitely, but as much
the
as
genre
like
was huge at the time.
all the pulp stuff from the 50s and the 60s informed this. You know, like I don't know. There was a
Back
ton
then-
of like John Carter on Mars type shit and stuff. You know,
Conan
yeah.
was back with Arnold Schwarzenegger. People loved big barbarian and axes and like that old school shit. It was almost like the new Western.
The Hercules all had a job at the same time.
And then Star Wars came along, so sci-fi got thrown in, and then whether it was He-Man, whoever said, let's mash them together, muscles and
Star Wars
lasers.
come out in like 83.
No, Star Wars came out in 75. 77?
No, 77.
Are you shitting me?
Yeah, and Empire was 80, and then Jedi was what?
But
82? 83?
94.
Yes.
It's the one from 2000, the really great one.
Pretty
With, like,
sure it was 70.
Pod racing or something.
Clifford.
That's the best one. Yeah.
I mean, it's better than the most recent one. Well, I don't know. I never saw the third. Oh, we're getting.
Yeah.
Tonight's about
Oh man, I love Star Wars. Too bad we can't
old-school
talk about
sci-fi
it.
fantasy.
Yeah.
Quick question: Dune came before Star Wars, right?
It did.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
fuck Star Wars. I'd go back to that. So the last story.
Logan's Run.
What was her name?
Jeez.
Pat. Starts with a T.
Arna.
Arna.
Dynasty.
And she's like a Tarakian or a Tarnikian.
Turn. Yeah.
And
Tarnikian.
she
Yeah,
goes
there
to
you
a
go.
bar and they rough her up, but she holds her own. But they take her to the leader, and the leader's like this. He almost reminds me of Big Baddie from Mad Max. What's his name? Not Master
I know you're talking
Blaster,
about.
like the
And not
the-
Toe Cutter.
yeah. What was his name? Toe
No,
Cutter.
Humongous was his son. Lord Victrola. No.
The guy
I
from
think
the
it
second
might
one.
be.
It was
I
Toe
think it might
Cutter.
be Humongous.
No, it's Toe Cutter from
Toe Cutter
Humongous was
from the
his
first
son.
one.
and the first one. The big baddie was Toe
Gemini,
Cutter,
Gemini,
and he,
no.
and he just looked like a BDSM executioner of the desert, and he just takes her and thinks that she's rare because she's from a rare race that he thought was extinct, and he wants to prep her for sex and use her, which I think he does, right? He like abuses her and tosses her.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what happens.
She's like all like whiptified and she gets thrown like in the caves, but he gets her, what was it, like a half bird, half dinosaur to break her out. Is that how she gets out? I forget.
So they
Bird law.
strap her up. It's like a little BDSM thing where they whip the shit out of her. He's like, get me, like,
Like on a wheel.
yeah. And then they throw her into a cavern, which is like bottomless because they throw some other guy down there. I watched this yesterday. And then, for some reason, they throw her clothes down to her. And then she gets dressed, and they're trying to kill her bird, and he escapes, and he flies down in the hole, and they escape. But they're getting chased by... Were those giant bats that the other...
Yeah, it looked
bad
some
guys
kind
were
of combination.
flying? Yeah.
Giant flying bats were
Dino-
very big back then.
Dino bats.
Yeah.
Batmen. Kind of stooges. Were big.
But yeah, so she like kills the mid-level bad boss, and then flies over the volcano. Is this like the circle or whatever? And she turns into lightning and destroys the source of all evil.
So, yes, once she kind of escapes and kills the baddies,
Yeah.
she's no longer on her bird. The bird got stabbed in the neck, but she finds another way to kind of get above the volcano, and inside the volcano is the Loch Nar, and it's huge, and she kind of like blasts it, man, and it starts to crack, and then it cuts to
Comic logic.
modern
Yes.
times. And the sphere, the Loch Nar in the home, talking to the girl that's telling all these stories, starts to crack too, and ends up dying. And then she gets some power, and she turns into the warrior from the last story, and she kind of flies off. So I want to say it gets deep because the Loch Nar exists in all time and space simultaneously, and he only dies when he observes his own death. So he was telling a story to kind of prevent him from dying, but he observed his own death and kind of self-fulfilled the loop. You know, like now she's off to kind of live her badass life and eventually make that happen, bring it to fruition, and kill the Lochnar in the volcano. So it kind of gets to like everything exists at the same time, but nothing really happens unless it gets observed, like quantum bullshit. That's what I got from that.
That's the kind of good, solid comic writing that was done at the time for those of us that had enough mind to pay attention. But like, that's solid. I didn't notice that, and I haven't read for whatever years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's solid, strong storytelling, and the way they imitated the comic, I feel was just spot on. And you know, I have no idea how long this ran in the movies, but I doubt it got a good box office.
I was curious, like how many theaters
But it's
it
a
was
cult
at
hit.
because it's a cult hit, but like I can't imagine this playing in Middle America.
Funny
You know,
story. It
'cause
came
it's
out
like-
in the early 90s, in the early 80s, but it never got pushed to home video until like 96 because of copyright issues with the soundtrack. So you can really only
Music.
catch it
Yeah.
in showings or on TV.
I
Like
remember
most of
when
you.
I was in high school, I went to a midnight showing of this, and the
Oh,
local,
wow.
yeah, the local theater did this, and they did Pink Floyd's The Wall,
Hell yeah.
and like a bunch of other
Do like
classics like that.
Rocky Horror.
I think so. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
I'm jelly. Not as much as Mr. fucking Greenhouse, but still very jelly.
Persimmons.
Persimmons.
This fucking guy.
Growing persimmons with Lochnar. I wonder if Lochnar had a life where he was just like a home life or like something really peaceful.
What if all he knew was violence and chaos?
I mean, shit can go wrong when you bake a souffle. If you
maybe
bake a
his dad
souffle
didn't
wrong,
hug him
your
enough.
spouse beats you, right?
Yeah.
So that's the risk.
Maybe if he just had some big fat anime titties in his face, everything would have been Irie.
I need some medicine.
Daddy needs his medicine.
Cape Daddy needs his big titted medicine. So I think I covered a lot of the points. Great soundtrack, of course. I'm glad they never did a sequel. It would have ruined
It was interesting how tame the sequel was compared to the first one. If anybody had seen it, has anybody seen the sequel?
It's like
Yes.
more. They like lean into the heavy metal aspect.
It was based on Julie Strain, penthouse pet that turned B-movie or whatever late night movie actress, and she ended up getting married to Kevin Eastman, who is the co-founder of he created the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Peter Laird, Kevin Eastman. Kevin
Holy
Eastman
shit.
was the cooler of the two, the leather jacket guy. He ended up marrying Julie Strain. Didn't last. She's dead now. R.I.P. But she was very big in like the heavy metal comics of the time, and they based, I think, a character on her, and that movie was kind of based on her. And I didn't think it was any good, but still, just the idea of keeping the brand alive, I think, is important.
Yeah. So
Yeah, agreed. I would love to see a modern take on this.
oh,
If
dude,
there
and
is,
actually, like make
like a
heroes
non-corporate
and
one, though.
villains of all different types, and keep the same like soul of the movie. So they did Heavy Metal 2000, which is its own thing, not comparable. Couldn't live up to it. Did it do anything else, like a cartoon or?
mean,
Well,
the
there's been
magazine-
quite a few like similar. What's the robot one? Peace, Love, Robots or something?
Okay, is that like same animation style and?
like anthology. It's like different
Anthology,
stories.
different
Yeah.
stories put together. And it's all animated.
I would direct people to Super Jail which is a crazy animation itself and an Adult Swim cartoon with a lot of episodes, written by a comedian as well, David Wayne, who has written Role Models and Wet Hot American Summer and, you know, Stella TV show, The State. And it's just a great show about super jail and an eccentric warden, but every episode ends in a chaotic fucking battle scene, and it's a one shot where like animation just follows it pans across the whole battle scene without cutting and tells a story. It's a fucking trip, and I would fucking eat my hat if they said it wasn't inspired by heavy metal.
Yeah.
And I love David Wayne.
Here, I'm trying to look it up. There was an Adult Swim pilot where it was very much this. It was like, do you remember that cartoon?
Peace, Love, and Robots, right? That's like similar animated adult stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people have done like the animated music video, like long ones, right? And most recently that I know of is Sturgill Simpson's Sound and Fury. It's like modern anime-ish, like animation, set to his album, and it's fucking awesome. I watched it after I watched Heavy Metal. I was like, you know what? I'll watch it. Yeah,
that sounds cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
So what I was talking about is it's called Korgoth of Barbaria. Which is like
that sounds.
Trope.
All right, yeah, it sounds familiar.
But he like actually flies on a pigeon, like a giant pigeon, in it, which was like directly from this because that thing she was flying on was Jason Weird. But it was like
it's like a bird.
Yeah, there was a cartoon. Fuck, what was it? That was.
She will fly away. She don't know where her home is. She don't know where.
Where it was like a barbarian who like it was post-apocalyptic Earth, and he had like a Wookiee type creature that went with him, and there was a girl who could do sorcery.
Thundar. You're talking about Thundar the Barbarian.
Yes.
Yeah, I would.
That's informed by the
YouTube.
same shit. This is the same vein of fantasy as that shit.
Okay.
It's that and Star Wars because he's this barbarian type, but he's got an electric laser sword.
Well, there's like the Statue of Liberty in shambles
Planet
and stuff. It's like drop the bomb, dude, and now magic's real. But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah,
I really do like that. I literally been watching
shit.
it recently. I'm waiting for final thoughts before I weigh in.
Any excitement about the He-Man movie?
I am going to go watch that some afternoon and eat some popcorn and geek out. And even if I'm disappointed, it'll be money well spent because fucking He-Man's on the movie screen. I want to see that.
To be honest, the bar is pretty low from the first He-Man movie. That one was pretty dog shit. If you guys,
but I still liked it as a kid. Yes, you're right. It was like, why is Drago He-Man?
That's not real Skeletor. Why does Skeletor look like that?
He's a meme now.
But that's going back to the kids of the 80s and the toys and the nostalgia from that time, which is a whole nother thing. But those are the same guys that love heavy metal and were like, oh my God, titties, action, He-Man,
titties.
Fucking Star Wars, more
titties.
Oh my God.
Spurs trying to wrap this up and we keep derailing.
Why does the robot sound like Uncle Buck?
I like the variety of pubic hair they had. There was red, there was black.
Good pubic hair representation. Yeah.
It was of the time. It was
some of the stuff where there was like a landscape where he was like riding across it, but the sky was like super trippy colors and stuff. That was why it took me 3 nights because I kept falling asleep while I was watching it. But it was really cool visuals. It was good.
You would never make easy Rider.
Yeah.
So I'll give my final thoughts before asking you guys. Solid. I liked it. I liked the animation style. Makes me want to look up some of those studio houses that contributed. I like how. Well, it's just a note. Each story had its own like sci-fi element. You know, if it was low tech, then they had like anamorph people, like animals mixed with humans. If it was high tech, then it was still dystopian in its own way. Like, what's the cab driver's name? Canvas or Canyon?
Harry.
He carried Canyon. Like he was in a high tech world. Everything had its own like little panel with switches and buttons. Even his bed and his like refrigerator had the same spec that his like taxi would have, but it still was a sucky place to live. The whole Den, well, not Den, the Stern story with the trial, that was just futuristic. All the aliens coming together, but at the very end, the very last one, I think I said it before, they added everything together. It was modern punk or modern leather clothing with like a caveman dinosaur feel, but they had like technology. So it's just everything together and different variations of a sci-fi world that they built. Took note of like how they kept it separate. Like times in the world building in each one, but that's really the only last bulletin point. How about you guys?
Don't watch it with. This is a movie for the bros. Like I don't think.
Or the wife with a sense of humor.
If her sense of humor is just shitting on it the entire time, but and yeah, don't watch it with your daughter. But yeah, it was good. It was it's very much a relic of its time. You know, I get why it's a cult classic. It's a good movie. I'm glad I watched it again. It'll probably be 20 years before I watch it for my next viewing of it, though. But yeah,
you guys provided some good shit. I mean, I had all these facts. You guys already brought them up and covered a lot. Yeah, that was pretty much a lot. And if the
Good
movie
soundtrack.
didn't,
It said banging soundtrack too, man.
yeah, I have to look it up. Yeah,
if the movie doesn't put an impression on you, then the stuff it inspired in the people's career helped may be impressive. It's a good one for the history books.
May I say something before we close it out?
Sure, man.
Okay, so like I'm a comic book guy. Hey, it's Louis. So Heavy Metal ran for 320 issues before it shut down not too long ago. They ran out of money. They've gone like 320 issues. I'm not sure if they came out monthly or it was quarterly.
I think it switched to quarterly after a while.
Okay, yeah, they started slowing down, and then they stopped. But now they're back. They're on issue 4. It comes out every 3 months.
Oh shit!
Am I allowed to like give websites and like plug shit?
Yeah, go ahead.
Paid for it. Can I say that I just like things? Okay. You can go to heavymetal.com. You can go to shopheavymetal.com. The first 4 issues are out now. They come out once every 3 months. They're great. It's the same like the movie and the old Heavy Metal. With the titties, the ladies with the titties, the white hair lady, she's back. She's doing shit. Stuff's going on. It's a new world.
Nice.
But it looks the same and it feels the same and it's got the same commentary and articles, and it's, as someone who's been reading comics for like 40 years, this is like really hardcore good shit. Super good stuff. So you can go to your local comic store or you can go to shopheavymetal.com. First 4 issues are out and they are good. Read them.
No kidding.
That's all.
That is a cool tidbit. I had no idea. It's
Good to
back.
know.
Thanks.
$4.
Hopefully, it gets a boost from nostalgia, and then people just latch onto it. And the titties. That's gonna help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Wow.
I wonder what a modern remake would look like.
I hope it will. So
Done properly? Even like Robert Rodriguez.
it's
I
got to
wonder
be
who
some
owns
trippy
the
animation, kind of like
wonder who-
Spider Verse.
Who owns the film rights? The Spider-Verse treatment would be amazing for it, honestly. Like something like experimental animation type shit. That'd
Yeah.
be great.
I think it would go over like Sin City, where it would be a cult hit or whatever, but it wouldn't really make great money at the box office. You know?
Yeah, it'd be a critical. Well, I don't even know if the critics would like it, but it would be a cult hit. You're right.
Yeah.
But it
We would
wouldn't
like
be
it,
a
probably.
moneymaker. It wouldn't be a moneymaker.
I don't know. I mean,
don't know.
Sin City made enough to get a second. Like
Yeah, get a
sequel.
second at least.
It
True.
did. I was
but
very,
the
very
second
happy
didn't
about
make
that.
enough to get a third.
The
don't
first
even
had
know if I
Jessica
saw the
Alba, dude.
second. Yeah.
If anybody in Hollywood still listens to me after all the shit I've done, please, Sin City, HBO, Showtime, just make it a fucking TV series, please. Just
That
make
would be
Sin City the
Dude,
TV
soon you
series.
can just speak it into AI and you can cast it your own.
Just
Or
do
actually,
it.
we don't need to give Frank Miller more money. We should do a heavy metal TV series. I think we will.
Give it to
Heavy
no.
Metal or Sin City?
Heavy metal. Fuck
Well, what does Frank Miller have to do with that?
He's Sin
Oh,
City.
you mean don't give? Yeah, but the stories, fucking Marv and fucking, you know,
Yeah.
Dwight,
Yeah.
Michael.
Rosario Dawson.
So we talked about Adult Swim. There's a show that comes on late at night, probably 4:30 at the latest a.m.
It's called
It's-
Jimmy Kimmel.
It's called Off the Air, and it's by
Oh,
David
yeah.
Hughes. And he takes fucking esoteric, trippy college film projects, short films, and other crazy things that you found, and he puts them all together in that episode, and it's just a trip. He does a lot of live action clips too, but I think he would be good working on a new heavy metal as well. But yeah, Off the Air, that is a little gem I'll leave you guys with. And next time it's going to be a movie by Mr. Dabney. We'll have to probe him and then ask him what he wants to watch. It's going to be interesting, but thanks for joining. Thanks for listening, and we'll have another no life movie and procrastination from our real life in 2 weeks.
See you, bye.
Goodbye.